Hey everybody, it's Bust. We're kicking off expedition number 312. Let's see who makes a little appearance here. And okay, I'm pretty on board with chasing after this Lucian. It feels like it's been a while since we've drafted a Lucian deck. He's one of my faves, and so I'm on board with just diving in here. If you are looking to go for 7, I'd probably also just recommend him as well. There's a pretty decent argument to be made for taking an Elise, but I think Lucian is all around is pretty strong, and Demacia is pretty strong as well. And so let's take a peek at the site. We'll talk about Lucian a little bit more. If you're not familiar with it, it's ftpbus.com. It's where I keep all of my expedition-related content. All the YouTube videos end up over in the guide section, whether or not it's a Twitch stream like the one here on top, or we've also been making our way slowly through the Lab of Legends. It's a lot of fun there, but everything in general is just kept over here. But today, we're going to be on the Expedition Helper section. We'll just make our way down to the drop-down box, scroll down to Lucian, and take a peek at the cards that we're working with here. And so, yeah, with Lucian, I mean, he pairs up with Kalista. It's meant to be a dead allies kind of theme. And so you're supposed to be getting some kind of value or bonus from killing off your own units. Kind of the big one in this style of deck would be Senna. If you're able to kill Senna to flip your Lucian, it's just kind of the easy mode way to do it. And so, that's kind of the idea here. A lot of the payoff lives in Demacia, whether or not it's the Senna Lucian combo using Vanguard Redeemers to draw cards, playing Radiant Guardians with this Life Still Tough or getting Remembrance down on the cheap. All of these, the payoff side of this lives in Demacia. The activators tend to live over on the Shadow Isle side, Blighted Caretaker being the most common and powerful one in this style of deck, but also things like Glimpse Beyond or Spirit Leech to kill your units and draw some cards. The like that. You could maybe find a way to use something like Mask Mother, but that's the kind of theme number one that you can pull off here. In recent times, over in the constructed land, people have been using Shurima to get the Sand Soldiers as a way to kick off your Lucians. He used to pair up with Katarina, getting this kind of rally multiple attack kind of theme. He does play extremely well in like a quick attack challengers kind of theme, and so if you're able to give either Lucian or Senna challenger, then they already naturally have quick attack. They're very good at taking down your opponent's units. Just lots and lots of things that we can do with this Lucian. As you could kind of see with that Ezreal trial yesterday, if you just don't find a good pairing, that Ezreal's kind of weak. But here, with the Lucian, he's strong either way. There's a lot of factions that we can find in the second pack. Just finding even any Shadow Isles champion in the second pack is pretty reasonable, and he has a lot of different things that he can do. And then, at the end of the day, if worst comes to worst, having a 3/2 quick attack for 2 mana along with 2 challengers is a pretty good deal. And so even if we say 100% build around a Noxus thing, then we have some pretty good choices that we could still pop off with this Lucian. Okay, so, interestingly, there's the partner pairing here in Kalista. As you can see, there's the Chronicler of Ruin to kind of come in and be an activator for the dead allies, and then we are having a profitable ally to kill off in the Cursed Keeper. Pretty reasonable set. I think that's who we're going to end up having to pursue here. Not a huge fan of pairing off this Teemo with Lucian. We could look to piece ourselves into some kind of like ultra aggressive Teemo style deck. I just don't think that that's where we're going to get a lot of the payoff here. And then the Sejuani, she would be reasonable to a degree. This suit up Sejuani to me always feels like it wants to be a Freylord Allegiance deck, and so I'm not particularly excited about that. So I think we'll be fine over here with this Retribution. The only kind of like downside to this, in my opinion, is the Retribution packs are going to be split between Lucian and Kalista, and so it can be kind of tough to find the cards that we're actually looking for. But we'll get her pulled up as well. She is a extremely powerful champion. Time will tell if we decide to draft around Kalista or draft around Lucian. Both of them are extremely powerful. But she really kind of has a lot of the Dead Allies theme going on in this kind of pack. With her, the payoff or the kind of activators aren't as good. I'm not like a humongous fan of playing. Where'd you go? Cursed Keepers. You really have to kind of get this big stack of Cursed Keepers and Fading Icon is the new one, and then Hapless Aristocrat as you know, kind of just like good units to be sacrificing off. But you know, that's kind of what you have to aim for here if you're going to be searching for this style of deck. Typically, when it comes to Kalista, we typically just look to become like a Blighted Caretaker Rekindler deck. The Blighted Caretaker just immediately flips your Kalista once you get into combat, and then the Rekindler is a fantastic way to bring her back and kind of get this cyclical thing going as to where, you know, the Rekindler brings back Kalista, and then the flipped Kalista brings back Rekindlers that bring back more Kalistas. It's a big card advantage engine in the late game. But, you know, we'll see what we can piece together here. Both of these pools are both particularly strong. And so let's see who wants to party. Okay, we are not partying with the pesky specter. That's that's a given here. We'll let that one go. And so I don't really want to be in Targon either. There's no themes in Targon that particularly play towards what we're trying to do. Like, you know, the Shield Bearer is a strong unit, Ravoon's a strong unit, but building off overall synergies isn't something that's going to happen with this. And so, you know, we'd be taking the Mage Seeker, Investigator, and the Judgment. You can't complain too much about taking Judgment's an extremely powerful card, but you know, I want to get more of these kind of activator side of things going, and not so much this top end here. So with these, man, the pesky specters are everywhere today. This card is just complete garbage, and so this one is kind of interesting though. You know, Atrocity is one of the, you know, more powerful cards that we could be picking up. This is a great closer as far as a lot of these games are concerned. And then, you know, it's not too hard for us to hit like a 5 attack unit. It's never going to be like an Atrocity with your Nasus, but it can close out these games pretty well. But, you know, the big thing here is the Lucian pool doesn't have any removal in it, and then the Kalista pool doesn't have any good removal in it. It has things like, I think it probably has like Black Spear and Vile Feast, but it most certainly doesn't have Vengeance. It might have Crumble in it, but here I think I'm just going to want to take the Sharp Sight and the Concerted Strike. You know, if we're not going to have cards that are going to be like super on theme, then I think these will be pretty reasonable takes. Okay, so as far as these go, you know, our curve is getting a little out of hand. I'm not like super excited about where our curve is going here. I really like to have a ton of early game as far as Lucian is concerned. So we might find ourselves kind of like slipping back into kind of a Kalista thing, but, you know, I really like finding a bunch of Cursed Keepers and Hapless Aristocrats for the Blighted Caretaker payoff. We haven't seen a lot of that in this trial. But as far as these go, you know, the Vanguard Redeemer is at least kind of on theme. And then if, you know, we do manage to pick up some more Lucians and some more Kalistas, or some more Sennas, then the Larnt Duelist is a reasonable play here. And then, you know, kind of at worst with the Duelist, we can use it to give a Cursed Keeper Challenger and maybe pick off a unit and get our big boy online. But okay, well, you know, again, the cards are expensive, but a pretty reasonable set here. I'm going to take the Vanguard Sergeant, just an all-around super powerful unit generating these 4 Demacias, and so happy enough to pick him up. He always plays well in one of these kind of go-wide strategies. Okay. It's interesting how much like Grand Moments has been popping up. Taking that Mage Seeker Investigator early has just made like Grand Moments show up all the time. But I'm kind of like curious how we want to approach that, as if, you know, if we were able to just start getting like elites cards showing up, and then really look for the new 1-cost unit that puts the Tattered Umbrellas in your hand. Kind of interesting. And then, you know, the 8-cost card does play well towards the who are you called? The unit that makes Detain, Mage Seeker Investigator. So it's actually kind of interesting. I think I'm going to just stay like a little bit more on theme with the Grizzled Ranger Ravenous Butcher, but it's definitely a reasonable take down here in the Reinforcements Mage Seeker. But we'll see if some of the payoff ends up showing up. It's tough with these Ravenous Butchers if you don't have a pile of Cursed Keepers and units to sacrifice off to these. Very easy for it to be a dead card. But, you know, as far as these go, I'm not really opposed to picking up multiple Sharp Sights. This is one of the kind of premier combat tricks in the format. Coming up with a Larnt Duelist that also gives us some more interaction. I just think we'll have a bit of trouble using these War Chefs. You know, we don't have a lot of 1-drops to really take advantage of this on curve. And so I think this is good. Okay, alrighty, a 1-drop and a Senna, that works for me. I wouldn't be opposed to taking the 2 Scout units, but Senna is ultimately pretty important here. Okay, well, we're getting all the sharp sights today. I don't think I've ever had a trial with 3 sharp sights in it, but the Warden's Prey is a reasonable early game, along with the sharp sight. I would be interested in the Radiant card over here, but the Vanguard Lookout is just too poor. It's too low quality of a unit. Okay, which one are you? Battlefield Prowess? Oh, this card's such garbage. But, we have let ourselves get like a little light on the top end, and so I'm okay to pick up the Radiant Guardian. We haven't seen like a whole lot of top end in this trial, so it's a bit awkward in that sense. But, this is good. We start complaining about it, and a Remembrance shows up as well. And, a great, another way to activate the Mage Seeker is pretty important. I'd like to, pick up some additional ways to activate these now that we have 2. When you just have 1, it's kind of just like, yeah, whatever. But when you have 2, you're going to be so much more likely to draw them. But here, we can't quite do that yet. Picking up a Senna with a Cursed Keeper is just too, it's too on theme, as opposed to picking up Remembrance. So I would like to pick up more Remembrance. That's going to be our kind of premier way to kick off these 6 Mana Matters themes. But it's not ultra important right at this stage. But here, the Sharp Sight number 4 with a Mage Seeker Conservator, that's going to be what does it for us. Okay, and our last one. Interesting little set. I don't think I want to dive in on any of these. I'm pretty happy with the Mage Seekers. We can, reasonably activate this. We are passing on Crumble for a Larnt Duelist. Like, our only, big removal would be a Concerted Strike at this point, and then kind of a Judgment, but it can be, a touch awkward trying to pull off this Senna and Lucian using Larnt Duelist. It's, a little bit easier to do with something like On Guard where you can burst it and then, also pay for it with spell mana. I think it's probably reasonable to go ahead and make this trade. Our spell count isn't too high, and our spells are actually pretty good here with 4 Sharp Sights and then some guaranteed removal. I think if we had like the second Remembrance, we could kind of consider not taking Crumble since we have the 2 Mage Seekers, but I think this is okay. We can't really complain too hard about having too much removal here. Okay, let's go. I don't know what to call this anymore. If it's just kind of like the leftovers segment to where we're just trying to find a unit in our deck that hasn't been made premium yet, and so we'll see. I'm scrolling through here, not really seeing anything. These aren't premium. I wish we could sort these by not premium, but life has to be hard sometimes. Oh, here we go. This is a kind of cool one. A Mage Seeker Investigator out here generating premium detains. I'm on point with that. That's really gonna generate us some value this trial. So cool. Yeah, this is okay. We didn't quite get as much of the Dead Allies cards as I would like. As it stands right now, we're more of a kind of like mid-rangey style deck that's probably going to focus on just flipping the champions as opposed to being this kind of like pure aggressive deck that you see a lot out of a lot of Lucian decks. But I think we're pretty strong here. Okay, the old Mega Keg, the Gangplank and Swain. Interesting. So, I think we could, we probably do want to hang on to the Sharp Sight here, right? We have 4 copies of it. If it comes down to it, I would rather have a unit than have a Sharp Sight, I think. So let's go ahead and get rid of it. We're not super worried about any of these units dying off too early. Arc Beast aggro, here we go. But, I could... it's kind of awkward in the sense, I could see an argument for, we'd much prefer to have, Sharp Sight than Cursed Keeper here. We don't have a lot of the sacrifice outlets to activate the Cursed Keeper. But with the way that this kind of stands, parlay, sure. I was kind of thinking in the sense, Make It Rains are so common in these style of decks that, if we can get a little bit of Make It Rain protection in the Cursed Keeper, that's not the end of the world. Okay. Not a bad little aggro start from this guy. He's been watching our videos for certain. Lost a Lure of the Depths. That's probably the actual perfect discard for the Pull Shark. Just if you're not going to be able to play the card, that card has to be 100% dead in his deck. But we're making the comebacks here now. The Chronicler of Ruin was a big pickup as far as getting big units on the board is concerned. We'll see. A lot of times I recommend making this block just to get the Cursed Keeper off of the board, just exactly for situations like this. We're about to get a big value train going here. Okay. We could technically kill the Senna to take off the vulnerable, but I think I'm pretty willing to just have her trade with his Jagged Butcher.
Let's get to it.
Okay. We're getting to it.
No,
Lucian!
I know. We're sorry, Lucian. The City Breaker. Sure. I think we just want to get the Vanguard going. What we see a lot of the times with this style of attack is, he's only going to be able to play one card here. And depending on the quality of his card, we're probably pretty happy to just slam a Silverwing Vanguard into it. I think that's kind of the spot we're in here. I'm pretty reasonably happy to do this. He does get to trade his 3/3 for our 4/3, which is, not an unreasonable amount of value. But I think this is a pretty good spot. We're still going to have our challenger for the next attack. We have this crumble onto Cursed Keeper if he just taps out for something big. This is pretty reasonable. Thinking about it though. Make it rain. Did hit the Cursed Keeper. Interesting set of units it hit. It's not horrible to lose our Vanguard here, but I would have liked to have taken this Pool Shark off the board. Okay. What up, Lucian?
I stand for Noxus. Don't get in my way.
Interesting. He's got the Blade's Edge now. I was a touch worried about that as a means to kind of counterspell our crumble, and so I'm glad to see that go. Looking to be in a pretty powerful spot here. Okay, so if we're gonna lose one of these units, we want it to be the Chronicler. And we have the means to just pretty much do everything now, right? We can Cursed Keeper and crumble next turn. Okay. Can flip our Lucian as well now. Looking pretty good. Okay, I want to take down the City Breaker so that we can get the rally off of the Pool Shark attack. Right, because this is going to be enough to flip our Lucian. Gross. That was the actual most perfect draw that he could have come up with. We're still in a pretty dominating position, but I like to make the cool plays, The cool plays are what it's all about. Okay, pretty powerful open with the big boys and the two sharp sights in hand. Okay, so, I'm not opposed to being in some kind of Kalista Lucian split. We're not super stacked to being a Lucian deck. We don't have, a lot of Sennas. And so if the cards look, particularly juicy in either of these, I'm not opposed to just going on board with one or the other. These cards are just hot garbage, don't really want Haunted Relic. You can use it to, quickly level up these units, but not a card I'm ever super impressed to take. But, as it stands, Lucian's flip is extremely powerful in Relentless Pursuit. I think this is who we're looking to take. I do have to note the Dawn Speaker's hanging out down here with Garen, though. It is a pretty powerful choice in this style of deck, but the big problem we have with the Dawn Speaker style deck is we don't have a lot of the early game activators and stuff. How we always talk about wanting specific cards for Blighted Caretakers, like your Fading Icons and Cursed Keepers. That's cards that you have to have for the Dawn Speakers to be good. You can't just have Dawn Speakers and then your on curve unit die. It's super awkward. But you know, we like to party, Lucian. So you welcome to the team here. Nobody knows LeBlanc's true identity. She could be Lucian. I could be LeBlanc. Huh. Interesting. Okay, all the bilge water today. It's a, you know, interesting little start in the remembrance. It's always nice to be able to pop those off on the third turn, but you know, a pretty reasonable little curve here. Multiple fizzes. Interesting. I haven't usually can't recommend trying to pursue that. I'm curious what pans out with Fizz. It seems like the Spellslinger's Fizz like really wants to be an Elusives deck now. But like all of the Bilgewater Elusives are epic except for like the Slippery Wave Rider.
We playing bilge rules?
Okay.
Son? Trick shot.
You got it. I don't think we really need to come in and stop this plunder. If his play is just a black market merchant, then that's completely fine. Whoa. Whoa, the pocket aces, huh? Okay.
Push back the darkness.
Should be pretty tough for him to interact with this quick attack Lucian into his pull shark. Or do we just want to play Senna? It feels like a touch on the greedy side to just drop the Senna and kill her with the Butcher. I think I'd rather just try to take board here. We can look to do this next turn when we like start getting Grizzled Ranger down. I think Senna feels a lot better on his turn. Just should be pretty close to impossible for Bilgewater to interact with this Lucian. Like if he has another, you know, like pocket aces, or if he just like drew a suit up or a gotcha or something, then you know, kind of congratulations. But you know, it's something that we're willing to risk. It's something that would make an argument for you know, wanting to go ahead and make the Senna play and flip our Lucian. But I just think board is so much stronger here. Interesting. That's rather frightening, but still go for it. He's got another pocket aces and he's got it.
Fresh is worth at least twice as much.
Okay. Who's gonna have the open kill on Lucian? It's not horrible.
I deal in coins and carnage.
Hello, love.
Maybe he'll play another card. We'll get the flips before it comes time to get the Rekindler down.
Let his knee out!
Okay.
We're gonna need more coffins.
Yeah, we need more coffins. You tell him, Lucian.
Aye, right. Going harvesting. Ring the flippin' bell.
Ring the fucking bell.
Stayed home, pal.
Okay.
Better than eating.
Son of a...
All right, let's mess some folks up.
Let's get him.
Never lost a fair game.
Red card.
Something for all of you.
Strange.
Get in there. So I mean, we should be able to catch up pretty quickly here. We're ahead, you know, pretty much on board. Got some good units to get down. Rumble Cursed Keeper if we want. Things are looking pretty reasonable. So do we ever want to like go ahead and crumble, or do we think it'll just take too long to get the value out of this Vanguard Redeemer? These aren't like super scary units. But how does this turn look? He just like doesn't attack with Twisted Fate. Can't attack with Fizz. You can chunk in some damage, but it's not a lot. I don't think it's too greedy. It would just, you know, it sucks to skip on all this spell mana here, but we'll catch right back up on his next turn. Whether it's just either playing a Judgment or playing a Crumble for our rally and getting some value out of the Redeemer, I think it's pretty good here.
We burn, then kindle anew.
Boo. Telling you, man, some people just don't like to have fun. People just don't like to have fun. Sad, isn't it? It's sad. Okay.
Optimal outcome achieved.
Where does this leave us? We still feel like, you know, feels like we're pretty far ahead here. Could try to get a crumble on Curse Keeper. How much does all this cost if we want to, say, play Vanguard Sergeant, Vanguard Redeemer, and crumble? It would be 11. Turns out that's how much mana we have. Then we could, like, For Demacia doesn't seem like super exciting on the next turn since all of our units are just better than his anyways. It's something we could potentially look at. Definitely potentially look at just killing this thing. This Twisted Fate's not really close to flipping.
Remember the fallen.
Discipline and steel.
What did we get?
What up, Lucian? Right on time.
Don't get in my way.
Success gets you noticed around here.
So how do we look to do this? Yeah, like the For Demacia just doesn't do anything. he has one unit that he can kill. So the big thing that we'd be looking here is like, can we get an actual kill with For Demacia? And we can't. So let's just get everyone else in.
Will not hesitate.
Give it one of these. The argument for Demacia would be like, you know, he technically doesn't have to block as many units now. Looks like he just gave up on it though. But we were pretty close to, you know, he's going to have to block 3 of them. So. Looking good, looking good. So interesting. I wouldn't be like super opposed to picking up a back-to-back here, but not at the cost of the Investigator. It's a little chicken and egg, but you know, are like, you know, in the sense that back-to-back is a fantastic activator for the Investigator, but I don't think we need to like super pursue this. Pretty cool with how things are going. Otherwise, don't want the Cavalier. We don't have any barriers, and then I'm good with our removal, not needing crumble. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip all of these. Like the back-to-back is the close one here, but you know, we have 4 sharp sights, and so it's not like super important in the sense of a combat trick, but it's great at just, you know, just getting the big ownage on your opponent in the late game. So we would like to pick up a copy, just not for the Investigator. Off we go. We're not letting us get our flipped Lucians in. You gotta start getting a bunch of rallies going. That's what it's all about. Let's see. It's the old Kindred Nasus with a little bit of Freylord in it. So with this, I think we just get rid of the 2s. I'm kind of tempted to just hang on to this Haunted Relic since it makes it, you know, reasonably easy for us to come in and flip our Lucian. We'll see how that plays out. Also works with Kalista. So what do we think about just like passing and then getting like the guaranteed flip on our Kalista next turn? Kind of dig it. Try to play a bit of a value game here. She's premium, so right. I mean, that's gotta mean something. I think we're destined for success with the premium Kalista. Okay. Well, let's see how this goes. You know, we could play things post combat here. We can start with the Haunted Relic just as a means to have this be the first target for the Rolling Sands. Then we can follow up with Kalista and hopefully have her flip at the end of the turn. Aren't any removal spells that are coming to mind that he could make this go poorly with us for.
What a shame for you!
We shall not rest until all betrayers pay.
Oh man, emotes. Let's do one. What do we got? We got the cupcake one. Yeah, Cupcake Garen. Get in there. Okay, and so with this next turn, I kind of want to attack with the Grizzled Ranger. You know what's gonna happen is he's just gonna probably let that go. But you know, if we're able to get Grizzled Rangers out of this Kalista attack, that would be pretty nice. We are risking getting like crumbled or something here, but Vengeance, yeah, doesn't change a whole lot. Okay. Need that 6-cost spell. We got all the Mage Seekers, but none of the payoff.
Lady Elise, where are you?
Push back the darkness.
See, this is where it would be pretty juicy to have access to Blighted Caretaker. You know, just being able to ace off a Senna and get the 2 challengers with this flipped Lucian. It's not a bad feeling, you know, it feels pretty good to be able to pull that off. Doesn't look like what we'll be doing immediately here. Yep, just go ahead and get that out of here, get our tick onto Lucian. Gonna add the other Senna and the Cursed Keeper. And hopefully we can just protect our Lucian with the Sharp Sight from now on. But we're going to have a pretty big board on this guy. How do we feel about the Badger Bear now that he's played a Spirit Leech? I'm not like particularly interested in just trading here. I think we can let that one go. Come in with these. None of these blocks are particularly good for him, so that feels nice. Yeah, makes me feel warm on the inside and such. Don't approve of these kind of things, my man. This is not what we're here to allow. It would have been nice if he was over a little bit. Just if the 2 Sennas had flipped over, or if Lucian would have died before the Sennas hit, they would have been lethal, right? We'd have hit the 10 double attack. There we go. That's the stuff. Hopefully he doesn't kill any units before we're able to play this. One of the awkward situations you can run in with the old Remembrance. But pretty powerful board. You're looking juicy. I have to imagine he just doesn't want to attack into a into the Dulcinas with Lucian on the board. Okay, big boy. How do we think of this now? I mean, this all seems good. He just can't have profitable attacks, right? It's not a not a thing in this guy's wheelhouse right now. But this is good. I mean, he's gonna finally get his blocker off of Ancient Preparations, but the Undying, of course, not an ultra strong unit here. Got these premium Sennas going on as well. You know, it's not always about having the rares. Sometimes you gotta, or, you know, all about the commons. Sometimes you gotta get your premium rares and such. Okay. Give us these double strikes, these double attacks.
What does it mean?
Okay.
No. Lucian! Lucian!
I know, that was not a very nice thing to do to Lucian.
Death begins your forever fable.
Ooh, excuse me. Alright, this feels like it's just going to be an open. You know, kind of interested in getting these investigators down. But those will be good targets for, you know, if he ever drops a Kindred or something. I assume we're going to lose something in combat here and we'll get to draw a card. Like, everything about this seems pretty positive for us. Yep.
The sample.
Oh. That's an epic.
My whole life for this.
You can't detain landmarks.
Will you come
A little bit of sadness for us, but I think we're doing okay here. He at least got these detains for his next two champions. Made a concerted strike. Good, looking good.
I will weave my own path.
That's quite the champion to hit here. See ya. And not like super confident in this detain sticking. You know, if he has a black spear or whatever, it's gonna kill any of our units. But we'll see if he spends some mana. As it stands, I mean, he's only got the two blockers, so those have to block our Sennas. We're looking to come in for 12. Here's the black spear.
No. Lucian!
How do we feel about this? I mean, I don't like particularly want to be spending a detain on Damask Mother, so I think this you know does it a little bit better. We can just take this damage. Now we can hook his 2/2. His Mask Mother has to block Senna, and then we're looking to just chunk in a ton of damage now.
Go ahead. Scare me.
Where you at? You come down here. Get over here.
Death becomes you.
Okay. Good game. Always feels good. Makes my day to smash down these Kindred players. Not hating the player, hating the game. Good, looking good. We're just going to come in and pick up our third Lucian here. Hopefully he's got some good cards. And good, he has a Blighted Caretaker with him. Nice. I'm not, like, amped about having the multiple crumbles, but the Blighted Caretaker's right on point. Alright. Battles continue. Got my old Sunday Fun Day shirt on. It's like I think it's like, you know, I would like to be able to find, like, one regular day where I could stream. It'd probably have to be like a Saturday or Sunday, and then it's just like, man, football season's on Sunday. I can't be streaming during the Chiefs games and say I don't know if I can pull off trying to do Twitch for like 3 hours and watch 3.5 hours of football. So anyways, with this some kind of Vladimir deck with the Niveas. I mean, it's probably wanting to be, the Battle Scars themed. So let's hang on to Bark Beast and look for some other cheaper plays. Oh, oops, I did it. It's been a while since I've just tore off the Bark Beast like that, or skipped the turn 1. At least it was just for a point of damage, right? But with this, I intentionally didn't play Lucian. I wanted to, knowing that we're getting busy with these like really high value champions, I wanted to save mana for Sharp Sight, which we're just going to use here. I'm not counting on a lot out of this Kalista. It's like as soon as he gets a that Enraged Yeti on the board, it's just going to shut down anything to do with these fearsomes. But we can still threaten to get her flipped, and opponent shouldn't have a whole lot of ways to positively interact with her.
Will no one listen? Poor man's gone mad.
Okay, let's see. I mean, depending on how he adds units to the board here, we could we could look to get this Kalista flipped. Right, if we're just going to add Silverwing Vanguards. It's unfortunate that, like, the way our mana plays out, we can't play both Vanguard and Lucian. But how do we want to offer this up? We have to assume that he's, like, drawn Yeti by this point. I think this is okay. He can either, play a unit and flip our Kalista, or he can not play a unit and then get domed for 11. He opts for get domed for 11. So that's looking pretty decent, right?
I told you. Carve a path.
You got it. It'd be cool if we get this Lucian down before combat, but see, we can't ask to have it all, I guess. Brittle Steel Shatter, sure. People don't like to have fun sometimes. That's what we're running into.
Don't get in my way.
Don't think we need to concerted strike any of this. I'd prefer it to be a better unit like Vladimir. So let's go ahead and pass and see what happens in combat here. I think I'm cool to let this ability fly. Do one of these. Let's strike Vladimir, you and you, and then how do we feel about trying to get this? Will this flip our Lucian? He didn't get to see Kalista die. That's right. So I think this is okay. At the end of the day, what's his Eric just dying? You put it on the left. Is it because we're killing Vladimir and it now deals damage to everything? Weird. Right? We're looking at the eye. I guess because it's no longer to Vladimir's right. Interesting. You learn something new every day, am I right? Okay. Let's get something big on the board. Unfortunate hit, right? We could have hit. There's 3 5/5s and then 2 4/5s, and we hit 1 damage short. Hopefully we're not dead here. We have to start with the... Oh, he's flipped, so he's going to get these drains as well. We have to start with the Redeemer.
Remember the fallen.
But if we survive this attack, we just win the game. Even with him like draining for 3.
Can see the Debussian border from here. Everyone's a god. I'll sleep
Nice.
when they're dead.
I'd considered playing this first onto the dragon, which we probably should have done. It looked like he was lethal before he played the sentry. We can add curse keepers. He has to. These are must block units now. Oh, hey, we can't do it like this.
Slow down, will you?
This messes with our rallies, but we just can't like lose our Lucian here.
Storm approaches.
Here we go. Come, this way.
So that's an okay-ish start. Then we should be able to like rehook his Vladimir so it doesn't kill our Lucian.
I assume you've come for me.
Okay. And we're still one wider than him, right? Because we've got this kill down here on Anivia.
I will be reborn.
Are we not? Apparently we weren't.
No room for doubt.
Could have gone better. But we're going to clear out a ton of his board here, though.
Gaze upon me.
Ugh, brutal. Okay. Why would he keep his Avarosian Sentry? He just thinks he needs to draw a card to get out of this.
How marvelous.
I thought we were just clearing that out. I thought that one was just done. Maybe we did that wrong in the sense that oh boy, that we should have hooked his Vladimir with the dragon and then got a Lucian attack in.
Let's see what they're
Is that right? This is not looking good anymore. Haunted Relic. Oh well, that's as good as it gets, right? This is the best Haunted Relic 2021. Oh man. Oh man, get in there.
such a pretty thing.
Got the Death Lotus. Oh, well, sometimes you get the ones you don't deserve. Cool, that felt good. I'm happy with how that went. Okay, what can we do here? I would rather have Conservators than Warden's Praise, I think. Just, I'd rather pick up a late game play. We don't have enough sacrifice outlets for these Warden's Praise to be spectacular. Cool with getting rid of Ravenous Butcher. We don't have a lot of the combos, but this is one of our few ways that we can actually, just come down and kill a Senna, in addition to the Cursed Keeper. So we could probably hang on to that. I am getting, a little worried about how our late game has gone, so I do think I want to come and pick up this Rekindler. It just feels like we've been a little close in this late game here, and so I want to just a little bit touch more at the end. Great. Battles continue. Behold. Units with this ability get a bonus. If you're playing a bunch of expensive bros in your deck, then your cheap bros can get better. Alright, well, Let's just hang on to the tracker. I would ideally hang on to this sharp sight when we have the tracker, but what I really meant was we should probably get two sharp sights to go with this tracker. Let's see how this plays out. It's the full Noxus package here. Forgot his Legion rearguards at home, huh? Okay, and I'm fine with this. Much like in the previous game, we can just kind of stall out for a turn to pick up some sharp sight mana. These aren't like really high quality units that we want to be spending sharp sights on, but it's nice to have that option around. Alright, there's Lucian saving the day as far as our mana is concerned. I really didn't want to have to just play Vanguard Redeemer. Wouldn't be the end of the world, but not what I was really wanting to do. Here, I'm just got to run out the Warden's Prey. I'm kind of okay with, trading the Vanguard Sergeant for the Legion Drummer. And then seeing if we can't get a Vanguard Redeemer down for some additional value. Like he's thinking about doing something not cool to our Lucian. I don't approve of not cool plays, so let's hope he thinks twice about doing that. It's hard to imagine that he has more 2-drops here. He's just like not playing 2-drops this up to this point this game. What, Senna? We will not worry about you, Senna. And then I think with this attack, since our Lucian is, nowhere near flipping, I want to attack with Senna to the right of Lucian. Since he's technically the, higher value target, if opponent's going to get down to shenanigans with, like, Whirling Deaths or something, I'd much rather him, get this Senna damage in at a double strike. He's probably just sitting around in awe of all of our premiums. I mean... It seems like a pretty realistic expectation. That's what our opponent would be doing.
Glory unrelenting.
Can still survive Whirling Deaths here. Oh, cool. Not what I expected to have happen.
To serve the greater good.
No. No, thank you. The Wrathful Rider complaining about their reputation. Look at that. Look at that. I wonder if that's like a new voice line since reputation wasn't in when that was a card, became a card.
Can see the Demacian border from here.
Kind of interested in what his game plan is as far as his Darius is concerned.
Magic has no place here.
Okay, this feels like a pretty reasonable for Demacia. We're gonna have the 8 mana to for Demacia and Sharpsight this turn. This will also put the Detain in our hand. So if things go kind of wrong, then we at least got our removal spell out of this as well. But I think this would probably just be a lethal. He's gonna have to have a ton of Whirling Deaths or something to try to get out of this. What you got, friend? Reckoning isn't going to do it.
The world awaits.
Okay.
Forward.
Safeguard our homes.
My gun does the
I'm still on board with this ideal of sending Senna out on the right. I can't imagine he ever does something this turn where he doesn't like block both of these or try to get a whirling death on one of these or whatever this card is about to amount to. Maybe it's like the, you know, your 5 attack unit strikes something, whatever. I think we're... it's weird he's going to do it like this though. He can pop Senna and make things happen, but this isn't how you want to do it if you're going to pop Senna, since he's going to play a removal spell on her. Then you know, our Lucian would get the level up, and then he would get the Death and the Mage Seeker Investigator. But, you know, we're a little short on lethal, so let's just go ahead and take down his Darius. Oh, nope, that's not going to work. Our unit's not going to survive that. Okay. Gotta remember that +2 attack from the Darius before we spew off this sharp sight. Okay, I'm not sure how opponent intends on getting out of this, but we're looking pretty good here. This name's familiar. I feel like we've played this guy a few times before. Probably the second best player in a right behind us, right? So the only thing that still keeps me worried is if opponent has Reckoning, and as long as we have like the sharp sight to protect our Lucian, then I don't particularly care about that. That kind of feels like what he was trying to line up here was, you know, having just his Darius, opponent plays, you know, random 3/3 because that's what Demacia does, and then just full clear the board with Reckoning is what I kind of suspect he wanted to do. Okay. Oof. Game friend. Right, what do we get here? Nice, we can get rid of this Haunted Relic for the Blighted Caretaker. Granted, this Haunted Relic has been fantastic today. I talk a lot of trash about Haunted Relic. You know, today it got us that flipped Kalista the one game. It got us the top deck lethal in another game. You've done your work, and I applaud you for your efforts today, Haunted Relic, but I do want to come over here and take this Blighted Caretaker. Your efforts are applauded, though. Okay, pre-final battle number 1. Let's see what we can do here. Not a bad little run so far. Ooh, the sea monsters, you say? Alright, well, kicking off with the Lucian Senna seems pretty good. I could, you know, see an argument to hang on to this Mage Seeker, but I don't think it's ultimately going to be too good at this stage of the game. They went up to my Lucian. Should be pretty tough for him to deal with this, and then also with the Senna. Just this selection of factions just do not have a lot of ways to interact with these units, unless a unit dies or something. But ooh, could drop the 3-cost one on us. Nope. Alright, let's attack with Senna on the right. I have to assume if he tries to kill any of them, he's going to try to kill Lucian. There shouldn't be any ways for him to do this, though. The scariest thing that he could do would be like Targon Shield to make this a 2/3, which doesn't do anything here. So, seems good. Seems good. We are coming up to the point in the game where where decisions have to be made. Ooh, a Blighted Caretaker. And we have this sharp sight in our hand for this. What do we think about just killing off or you know, throwing Senna in front of this with a sharp sight, and then next turn playing like Fleet Feather Tracker Blighted Caretaker? Okay. I've been convinced. I've been convinced.
Stand down.
Oh, she wasn't even gonna die, but okay. Okay. Sometimes you just don't need it, you know. This is me, man. Well, if you're new to the party, I've never been much of a mathematician. It's I figure you all are out here like this dipshit's trying to do math again. And look at how well that went. 2 plus 2 is a tough one to pull off. At any rate, I'm going to go ahead and skip over all of these. Not anything that I think really adds to the quality of our deck. I think the Redeemer is better than the Ranger and the Dead Allies. Our removal spell is better than Missed Call. Our top end is pretty well set now that we've picked up these 2 Rekindlers. We can just skip over all of this. Okay, interesting choices. I'm not, like completely opposed of getting rid of this like Cursekeeper Ravenous Butcher package, but like the Butcher for the Vanguard Sergeant is like the particularly interesting one. But I do like maintaining these ways to just like come down and kill Senna. So I think I kind of just want to maintain this package and even, improve on it a bit if we can. Okay, and so I do want to pick up a second Remembrance. If you do remember, we have 2 Mage Seeker Investigators. I really like having the ways to activate those. So we're up to 3 ways we can do it, plus the Mage Seeker Conservator. Okay, so I'm not like real jazzed about trading away all of our Silverwing Vanguards, but with the option to pick up Senna, I'm pretty happy to do it here. Okay, and I don't think I want any of these. There's an argument for the Chronicler of Ruin, but now that we have the 2 Blighted Caretakers, it's so incredibly powerful if we're able to just play, anything on the first turn, Lucian on 2, Caretaker on 3. And so I'm going to hang on to our 1-drop here. But getting rid of a Chronicler of Ruin for a Vanguard Sergeant is quite interesting. We talked about back-to-backs earlier as well, but I just feel like I want to hang on to this Ravenous Butcher here. Oh, I don't think we want to make any of these trades. Nothing really, we've got our top end locked up with 3 Kindler Judgment. First Keeper, he's kind of on theme. I really wish we would have, like, whenever you're pulling off this Kill Your Own Allies theme, I really like to have, 6 or 7 of these early game plays, like your Hapless Aristocrat, your Cursed Keeper, your Fading Icon. We have 2, so we're really short on that. Arguably, we should have just like tried to get all of that out of our deck, but I think I'm kind of like okay with the Cursed Keepers, but I feel like we probably should have gotten rid of the Ravenous Butcher. But I don't know, we have 3 Sennas, so maybe that will just be enough to hard carry it. And then as this goes, we don't necessarily have to play Lucian on 2. We can just play this Remembrance on 3. It will activate our Mage Seekers for the rest of the game. Because otherwise, we just kind of have this really awkward start as far as our units are concerned. And I'm not the hugest fan of just slamming Lucian down on 2 against a Piltover deck. And so it doesn't seem like we have to like super worry about Mystic Shots. They don't exist in the Victor pools. And so, Victor's removal is limited to Aftershock and Death Ray. And so if Victor wants to actually get Mystic Shots, they have to show up in wild picks and synergy picks out of other card pools. So Lucian, long story short, Lucian should be relatively safe on 2 here. But we have to decide if we'd rather just play Remembrance on 3. Okay.
There's a chill in the air.
I've changed my mind. It's just with the things like the crumbles popping up here. I just don't think we're ever going to be able to like activate these if we don't just go ahead and curve out. So the way that this ends up playing out better is if we hit like a 1-drop or a 2-drop on one of our future turns here, and we can get a good curve going.
Discipline.
Also, not completely opposed to trying to take these down with Blighted Caretakers. Mainly just the assembly bot, but Kalista is a big pickup now since we already have the sharp sight. This should be pretty good. What can you do? You can make a 3/2 assembly bot and play another card, but nothing else here feels ultra scary. Not bad.
We march.
You spurn my gift?
I would never spurn your gift. Who the fuck talks like that?
Be brave.
But alright, this looks reasonable now. We can, Sure. We can, you know, just play Redemption next turn. That's not the way I really want to go about it. I want to get this Cursed Keeper set up for like 2 turns from now. And I wanted to get the Blighted Caretaker set up, and we just picked up the Cursed Keeper for it. And so I think this should be pretty powerful. So this one is actually much worse than the Daybreak one, right? The big thing that he's probably aiming for here is a way to kill either our Lucian or our Kalista. And, you know, you can very easily hit Meteor Shower or hit... I was trying to stop and think if we wanted to actually just play Blighted Caretaker here. I don't think we do. But, you know, if you can hit Meteor Shower or the Obliterate off the Daybreak, you're like, you know, 2 out of 6 cards. Not what exists. Everything exists for the Priestess. Okay. He knows we have the sharp sight, huh? Look at this. He's got that premium Zoe. He's got a lot of credit for what's happening here.
Everyone's a garden.
But lots of power coming in. We're getting the guaranteed Kalista flip here. It's not unreasonable to think that he'll block either a Caretaker or a Vanguard. And then we could also just crumble something here to kind of guarantee our saplings get the Lucian to flip. So, interested in what opponent does here. Would love to see him tap out for some irrelevant unit. You know, would love it. Silence a follower. Okay. Let's see where this gets us. I don't think I'm ultra worried about either of these champions here. It's reasonable to assume that he can kill one of them. Pretty unreasonable to assume he could deal with both of them. So if he got, like, specifically got Meteor Shower off of his Priestess, you know, it kind of sucks for us, but okay, I think this is going to be quite good.
This is mercy.
I have to leave Kalista back. I don't want to just trade her for Sump Dredger. Ooh, we got the trick for Lucian? Pale Cascade? Okay.
You were misguided.
Ooh, that makes the trick not work. Okay. And so this is a pretty important flip, even if he has, you know, a thermogenic beam or something to kill our Kalista. Then us being able to get her back with the Rekindlers is a pretty big deal. We would have loved to have had that Lucian flip here, but so our future copies are flipped as we immediately draw another one. But I think this is okay. I think we're looking pretty good here.
Exalt me like the god I am now.
Sharp sight this down should we need to. Not super worried about the amount of damage coming in from these little bros. We'll see. He seems to be like really confident in us having sharp sight, so kind of cool just playing it.
In pursuit.
Trying to think of what our Kalista unit is. Really, I wanted this Vanguard Sergeant to actually die so that we could attack with Kalista and get additional 4 Demacias. Maybe that was a little greedy of a thing to think of, but we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Star chart, okay. I was curious if he was just going to immediately come at us with the stuns. But again, this looks pretty decent for us. We got this this for Demacia at some point. We got a Crumble in case he ever plays a relevant unit. And we're looking pretty powerful here. I like looking powerful. That's what people say when they see me at the gym. They go, ooh, Bust looks powerful today. But alright, good deal. Looking good. Lucian's got 2 ticks on him at this point. So this looks like it's ready to get taken down by a double sharp sight. Oh, he's going to move all in on this thing. Boop.
A Demacian soldier is worth 10 foes.
You're worth 10 foes, bro. Then Demacian soldiers be strong. This is lethal yet. We can do this. I don't. Does this flip our Lucian? I don't know how. If it happens after the fact, yeah. That looks like some kind of 5 attack unit. I don't remember what that would be. Trying to put something in our hand. Oh, it's gonna put in a lead in. Okay. I think that will probably do it. God, doing something. Gain 5 even matter? Nope. Nice. So there we have it. Good game, friend. Nice little 7 winner. If memory serves, that was a nice little 7-0. So let's double check on that. Let's take a peek when the LOR Guardian kicks up here. Yeah, look at that. 7 wins. It's waiting on it to load. Yeah, nice little 7-0. And so I mean that was pretty powerful, pretty straightforward, right? You know, if you if you check out our tier list, this is why Lucian and Kalista both sit right up there at the top. These decks are extremely powerful. We didn't have. I mean, I've had way better decks than this. This feels like, you know, it's kind of like right in the middle of being a Lucian deck. Definitely had worse, definitely had better. But, you know, when right in the middle is taking you to 7-0s, you know, certainly gives off quite a lot of raw power here. And so, you know, we didn't hit like all the numbers that we really wanted to. Again, when it comes to these important early game plays, like, I mean, Cursed Keeper is the only one we have, but between Cursed Keeper, Hapless Aristocrat, Fading Icon, we're looking for, you know, 6 or 7 of those, and then like once you've kind of hit that you know, break point of early game sacrifice units, then your things like Ravenous Butcher immediately become much more powerful. But, you know, again, the big thing to really get your Lucian or your Kalista rolling is the Blighted Caretaker. I really kind of prefer it in the Lucian style decks, since being like really aggressive in the beginning of the game is so much more powerful and easy to do for Lucian than it is for Kalista. But it's, you know, going to be kind of like your key build around card, regardless of which way you pursue this. So, you know, you do look to get, you know, kind of like different segments of cards depending on if you're building towards Lucian or Kalista. Lucian is just way more aggressive in this. If we're going to be playing Demacia Shadow Isles, like he's way more aggressive than Kalista could ever be. And so this like Lucia Senna curve is just so hard for anyone to ever deal with. Just, you know, having a 3 and a 4 quick attack that early in the game, just almost guaranteed to either get value attacks to where your opponent's just giving away mana, or they're just going to chunk your opponent for a huge amount of damage. And so pretty reasonable little thing here. But you know, so like the big things I like to call out with this, we'll just speak to Lucian kind of for the remainder of the day. But with Lucian, kind of like the big things that we're looking to build towards here is, again, your curve needs to be ultra low. You know, we're trying to get our units down and get them all sacrificed away. And, you know, if we're like playing Lucian on 2 and Senna on 3 and we want to play a combat trick on 4 or a Blighted Caretaker on 4, then we have to have played a 1-drop. And so that combo of, well, I mean, if you're wanting to sacrifice your Senna to the Caretaker, fine. But if you're trying to you know, get the Caretaker down for value, you have to have a 1-drop for that kind of line. So they are, you know, extremely important, just as a means to, you know, really kind of get your deck rolling. And then, you know, kind of the other big things to pay attention to here, outside of, you know, those cheap sacrifice units in the Blighted Caretaker, are you need to find a removal spell. That's why we like really went out of our way to take this Concerted Strike. Weren't super upset about the crumbles. It's because I think Crumble does live in the Kalista pool, but Vengeance does not. No removal spells live with Lucian. And so again, you know, it's pretty scary to get to the end of the trial and not have a guaranteed removal spell. The Lucian deck can, you know, kind of like pivot to being more of like a mid-rangey style of thing. And then you're like really going to be hurting if you don't have any removal. So make sure that you do go and pick up some of this kind of guaranteed removal. You would typically see more, you know, like Black Spears littered throughout this style of deck, but we have 4 Sharp Sights, and that just kind of makes up for it at the end of the day. But yeah, other than that, you know, just make sure that you find some kind of top end. We went a little late in this trial without finding any. The preferred top end for me is Neverglade Collector, since we run into so many games like, you know, where we just bash him for 7 damage on turn 3, and then, you know, from that point forward, you're probably just going to have to do like between 4 and 6 damage with a collector. So they're pretty, you know, pretty powerful. But the Rekindler is the more standard and easy to find option than him. So, you know, however you go about it, make sure you find some top end, find some removal, and then make the big push to keep your curve super low. Hopefully, get you going pretty well there. That is going to do it for us today. I do think we have a handful of rewards to click on, and so we'll see what shows up. Oh, another champion. Go us. It's Kindred. Take it back, Riot. But I think that is it. Yeah, that will do it for us today. So, you know, hope you all enjoyed the trial. You maybe learned how to redeem and or remember your allies a little bit better. You know, you learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.